Hey guys, Mike Mcerlane with another episode of Workout 101 on WorkoutTrainer.com. So today we're going to cover the barbell military press with the bands. Now, there was a video which I hope you guys watched where I talked about using the JYM Strength Bands in the gym setting. A lot of people, a lot of the Gym Army people and fans of gym, as well as people who watch these videos, are wondering what's the benefit of these bands? How do you set them up in a normal gym setting? How do you go about using them with exercises that you're familiar with doing? So we're doing a series of videos. This, we're going to show you the setup of how to do the barbell military press or the barbell shoulder press with the bands, okay? So let's go over the initial setup. Now, first of all, go out and get yourself a set of the JYM Strength Bands, the JYM Strength Bands, and the reason why is because the setup has all of these types of attachments that are necessary in order to have the correct setup when you're doing this. This is a normal standard military press or shoulder press station. A lot of them are different. Some of them don't have the bars down here, but that doesn't matter. You just want to focus on how you're going to set up securely the bands to get the benefits out of them. First of all, each one of these kits has, these are ankle straps, hand straps, barbell cuffs, whatever you want to call them. But what you want to do first, unlike a lot of other movements like we have the bench, where the weights go on first and then the bands, it's very important to do it specifically this way, and there's a reason why, which I'll explain. The first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and loop the band around the bar here, pull it tight to where there's no space in here, to where it's just like a wrist strap. If you have it loose like this, what will happen is as the band stretches, it could slip over when you're actually racking this and come out, and you don't want to do that. So the way to avoid that is you have the band here, you pull it tight, you pull this strap tight, you wrap this around the band, and then you cross it back over to where the Velcro straps over. That way, it's not going anywhere, okay? That's locked in there. I mean, I'm pulling on this and you can see I'm pulling the whole apparatus over. You do the same thing on the other side. You loop it around, pull it tight. Watch how I cross it. It doesn't matter if you cross it this way or cross it that way, it doesn't really matter. But I'm crossing it this way, looping it around, and then you put the Velcro back across the Velcro and through the loop there, okay? Push it tight to the end of the barbell. Then what you do is you place the weight on the outside of this, and you place your collar out here. You do the same thing to the other side. Place the weight on. Collar. Now, you're ready for the band. Depending on the level that you have for the bar or an anchor point down here, some of them just have a seat, and that's okay. You just want to find a point to where the band can go under securely and it's not going to slip out from underneath you. All right, so what you want to do, we have this, so we secure the band underneath. Now what you want is you want to make sure it's even on either side first. A lot of people will hook it here and then run it underneath. Don't do that, okay? Because what's going to happen is one side's not going to be as tight as the other, and the resistance is going to be off. So what you want to do is you want to start here, go underneath first, then make sure that the bands are even on either side, to where one side's not here. Make sure it's relatively even, then stand in front. Now this is a 25-pound band on either side. I should be able to lift it up. If you can't, have a buddy help you, okay, or figure it out. Most people can do it. So you just come up here, connect it on this side, and connect it on this side. Now you're ready to execute the movement. So now we just went over the setup. Let's go over the technique. Very simple. Most people who've done this, the technique is no different in terms of the form and the position that you want to do the military press. For these purposes, I generally do it in front unless the program specifically says behind. But if you're going to do behind, remember, behind the neck, shoulder, anything, shoulder press, lat pull downs, it puts the AC joint, the acromioclavicular joint, in a disadvantaged position because it opens it up. So by having it open here, you can compromise that joint based on the ligament stability, depending if you don't do the technique right, and it's very easy to do the technique incorrectly. So for these purposes, we're going to talk about having it in front. I'm not saying you shouldn't go behind. I'm saying you just have to understand the right way to do it so you don't, you can avoid injury. So as you unrack here, the bands are going to feel very heavy at the top. The weight's going to feel very heavy. And the reason why is because it is heavy at the top. You have free weight plus a band that's fully stretched. Just taut, you have 25 pounds of resistance on either side. Stretched, it increases. So at the top here, I probably have anywhere between about 40, 42 pounds, maybe on either side. But it doesn't really matter as long as I can maintain the weight. Now, the one thing that you want to do, and I'll demonstrate the movement here, is the rate and the speed that you go is going to be different than if you were doing free weight alone. So as you're racking here, it feels very heavy. So you want to come down here and then press up hard and fast. You really want to try and press to where the weight almost leaves your hands at the top, but it's not going to. So it looks like this. If I were to take the free weight down, which in many cases, this is another way that you can do this. If you really want to work on that fast twitch muscle fiber recruitment and make this a very rapid, speedy movement with real power, you actually take off the free weight, you add more resistance of the bands or the elastic weight. And now, again, what limits speed? Load, okay? That free weight limits how fast I can move. You saw that was as fast as I possibly can do. It was still faster than normal, just free weight alone, because I had the bands, but now watch how fast I can do this movement when it's just the bands. That's the technique with the bands. Keep it in front, but boom, 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 boom. I can't do that with free weight because momentum doesn't allow me to maintain control over that weight throughout the entire range of motion. Because the bands are constantly having a force applied to it in the opposite direction that I'm moving. Even as I'm pressing here, the bands are getting heavier. They want to come down more. That allows speed to now be a factor. So when you're working out and you're training, you have a few different things that are always a factor when you train. You have the load, which is how much weight you're doing. The barbell, 45 pounds. This band, 25. This band, I think is, was it about 13 pounds? So you're roughly fully stretched here. Let's say it's about 40 plus another 20. So you get 60 pounds on this side, 60 pounds on this side, 120 pounds, plus 45 pounds. You're looking at roughly about 165 pounds at the top. And when I unrack this, that feels like 165, okay? So that would be equivalent to having like a 45 pound weight plus like 2 10s on either side. That's like 165. That feels about right at the top. So I come down, pressing it, fast, no stopping, no pause. And that's the technique and the difference between just using free weight or just the elastic resistance. All right, so we just got done talking about the technique of how to do the barbell military press using the bands and the difference in the tempo and the speed of how that technique needs to be executed, whether or not you actually have a free weight plus the bands or just the bands and the barbell. Okay, so very different when you actually talk about tempo and the rate, the twitch rate, how fast you're moving to develop speed and power. The next thing to discuss is why. Why are we even using these things, okay? Why don't I just throw on more weight and add up the weight, take the bands off? Okay, a few different things. The bands here, as you know, the further you stretch, the heavier it gets, right? So when we're talking about the length and tension relationship when the muscle fires under stress, the muscles are stronger and weaker at certain points in the range of motion. What does that mean? It's very important for you guys to understand concentric and eccentric movement, okay? If you don't know the differences, here's a quick little lesson. Anything that is coming up against the direction of gravity when the muscle's contracting is considered concentric motion. All right, a little bit different when you're doing a pulling exercise like a pull-up. Anything that you're doing like squatting down is considered eccentric, or if I'm descending down in my arm here, as my arm goes down here, this is called eccentric motion. I'm controlling the rate that I'm moving with gravity. So if I'm going with gravity, that's considered eccentric. If I'm going against gravity, it's considered concentric. It's different when we start talking about cables and different things like that. But eccentric and concentric motion are very important to understand because you're stronger and weaker at certain points. Theoretically, you're actually stronger eccentrically with certain movements than you are concentrically. For instance, going down in the bench press. I can lower the bar down, but I get stuck at that sticking point and I can't press it back up. And the reason why is because once you hit a certain point in that range of motion, your muscles are at their weakest points. For instance, in the barbell military press. When I'm coming down here, this first 50% down here, I'm strong. And this 50% back up concentrically. Right here, eccentric, concentric. Eccentric, concentric. But this part right here, I'm at my strongest points in that range of motion. Down here, I'm at my weakest points. This is still eccentric motion, but I'm really weak here. This is concentric motion, but I'm really weak here. But as I press back up, that concentric motion, because the angle is changing and is decreasing in my joints, I'm becoming stronger the further that I press up. My muscles have the ability to contract harder and much more, at a stronger point as I'm pressing up. So with the weight, we have what's called linear variable resistance, which means it's the same thing if you have chains, right? Chains are up off the floor. As I lower the bar down, the weight decreases coming down, but as I press back up, the weight increases. So as I'm pressing up through my strongest point in that range of motion, the weight increases, is putting more stress and load onto the muscles that are firing. That causes recruitment of the type 2B fast twitch muscle fibers, which are the biggest and the strongest muscle fibers that you can recruit into the body, okay? Fast twitch muscle fibers. Think about sprinters versus marathon runners. Who has a better physique? Sprinters, predominantly fast twitch muscle fibers. Marathon runners, predominantly slow twitch muscle fibers. Now they're endurance athletes versus a very anaerobic type of athlete, so there is a blend of both, but when we're talking about resistance training, those are the type of muscle fibers that we want to recruit. Now the other reason why we use the bands is because of speed. Unlike any other movement, as I said, speed is a factor. I can move this weight as fast as I possibly can with control and good technique, but only with using the bands. If I didn't have the bands, even if I had chains to get those same linear variable resistance principles, the chains would be flopping all around, and same thing with weights. That gravity, that momentum, it flops all around. There's no control against it. This resistance is not controlled by gravity. So this is the barbell military press using the bands. We have the setup, we have the technique, we have the benefits. Try this when you guys are doing any one of my workout programs or Jim Stepani's workout programs. I'm currently doing Jim Stepani's Super Shredded 8. This is an actual movement in there. So when it calls for the barbell military press, in this instance on his program, it actually has a Smith machine military press. I use the bands. I use the bands. I want those principles. Do I use them all the time? No. So you got to trade them off, but I always have my bands with me. And as long as you incorporate them within, random times that you use them in a structure plan, the results that you get are going to be incredible. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else, please ask me on the Workout Trainer Facebook page, or you can ask me right here at workouttrainer.com by clicking above on the community section. You'll see a drop down that says trainers. Find myself, Mike Mcerlane, ask me a question. And if you guys have questions wherever this video is posted, go ahead and ask a question in the comment section. I always will respond and go through and see if anybody has any questions. Until next time, guys, it's Mike Mcerlane. Take care.